Yeah, this works. Hello? Hello, all. Hello. That is so messed up. That is not good. Hang on for a second. I've been dealing with problem with the lighting for a while. Hang on. Hang on. This thing is messed. There you go. I think that may have been the problem. Hello? Anyone there? Hey, Luppy, can you hear me? That is so not, that's not good. Okay. Hey, Luffy. Hey, Bot Ranger, how are you? We got a problem here. The lighting is all messed up. Okay. Hey, Miss Fish, how are you? Now, can you, audio check? Audio check? Mic check? Are we good? Can you hear? That is not good. Why is it doing that? Alright. Otherwise, go to preferences. Okay. Concerning. Very concerning. There we go. That may work. Okay. Hearing. Hey, Captain Kenway. Been a while since you're here. Okay. Hey, Frog. Alright. So, we're a little late. I'm having trouble with the lighting. So, audio check, mic check is good. Video check, however, is I'm not getting... I don't know why I am not... This is not working for me. Please use the Eve HomeKit? No, I know that. No networks. No. Anyway, can you all see, right, that the video is okay? Lighting is a little off, but that's it. Well, I'm going to start anyway. We got the light here from this screen, from this browser screen. Hello everyone, I'm Ming Chao, Associate Teaching Professor at Tufts University, and this is Introduction to Security. Today we're going to talk about vulnerability scanning and two important lessons about vulnerability scanning, namely something called Badness-O-Meter. Hey Crumb, how are you? How are you? So I get this question every so often. Every so often I get this question, which is, how do I check if my systems are secure or if they have any vulnerabilities? That's the question I get. There's a way that you can check if your systems, your apps, are secure and if they have any vulnerabilities. And the answer is yes. Vulnerability scanning tools, there are many vulnerability scanning tools. Some open source, some commercial. We're going to look at a combination of both today. Okay? Now, before we get into tools, starting today, we are going to, well, we're going to need to scan and perhaps even attack systems. Okay? Now, what we could do is, I can launch a target or something on the, on the internet and people can attack that, but it's dangerous when you do that live. It's dangerous when you do that live on the air. So, for the next, starting today and into the next few weeks, we will be using deliberately vulnerable systems and applications. And these are generally available for free, on the internet. And I'll give you an example of a deliberately vulnerable system that you can use, especially if you are trying to learn cybersecurity and you don't want to be attacking, systems on the internet. This is great if you have a Windows PC and if you have a VMware Workstation or VMware, um, if you have VMware Fusion. Actually, it only works for VMware Workstation or Fusion on Windows. And I want to introduce you to this environment better known as Metasploitable. I like Metasploitable 2 because it's really old. You're going to find a lot more vulnerabilities than you want. Metasploitable, what it is a deliberately vulnerable Linux system. Yeah, that's what it is. And such tools, such deliberately vulnerable systems, allow you to do many, many things. Number one, and by far and away most important, is a legal environment to hone your skills. Okay. Number two, it's also a great environment to test tools. List goes on. But yeah, and these are deliberately vulnerable. And of course, number three, they're free as well. The only thing that you need is like hard disk space. Metasploitable 2 was published by Rapid7 over a decade ago. And as you can see, it is a test environment that you can provide secure environment to do penetration testing and even for security research. Okay, I have one set up on my home server at home. Okay, and they give you a lot of the details here. The default login is msfadmin is the username, msfadmin is the password. Showed you how to get the IP address, and in fact, they even the documentation even has a list of all the vulnerable services that this target has, this Metasploitable instance. And I believe in my case, my instance is 192.168.1.205. No, it isn't. What if I did HTTP? Nope, it is not. It is not. Okay. Can I SSH into Kali? Yep, I can SSH into Kali. Okay. I thought it was 205. No? Okay, we'll find it. Let me start sudo. Don't mind me for a second. Sudo msfdb start. Password is incorrect. Okay, database already started. Mind me, I just need to find the IP address of this Metasploitable instance. I thought it was 205 on this one. I really thought it was 205. Yeah, it should have been 205. I don't know why it's not up. Okay, ping 192.168.1.205. Still alive? What the hell? Oh, 205 should be. Okay. Can I do ports? No. Nmap 192.168.1.205. Yeah. Again, still up. I don't know why this is not connecting. 192.168.1.205. What the hell? Let me open up another browser. This is the most mess. Yeah, it's unreachable. Huh. 8080? No. Don't know why it's not. It's still down. Anyway, but what happened if I do an Nmap scan? Let me open up a new tab. Let me do an Nmap scan on my Mac. Yeah. I can't get the HTTP port running. Interesting. So at any rate, I have this instance of Metasploitable running on my network at home. And this is deliberately vulnerable. You can see a lot of different services that are up and running. Not sure why HTTP is not firing up. What happens if I do a curl HTTP 192.168.1.205. Okay, I have a firewall. I'm gonna allow. It's up. That is so messed up. Should be rendering a damn page for me. Why is it trying like it said? This is so messed up. You see that? I can curl HTTP 192.168.1.205, but I can't access a browser for this? That is really strange. Okay, that is extremely strange. Yeah, I can curl. Bam, there you go. There is a website here of some sort. Okay, maybe try HTTP. Yeah, I just did that. And yeah, so this is a tool for Windows mainly. Metasploitable 2, yes. Unfortunately, it will only work on Windows. Actually, to be more specific, for Windows and also for Linux Intel-based systems. So if you're using Mac OS, like the new chip, if you're using ARM, Metasploitable isn't going to work. Okay? Browser looks like it defaults to HTTP. Let me just let me just do my settings. Go to privacy and security. Do not track. But I know I turned off. I should have turned on don't enable HTTPS mode only. This is really, really messed up. The only thing I can think of is, strict. This just gets weirder and weirder. Looks like browser defaults to HTTP. Yeah, HTTPS is not going to fly here, but then again, it should actually fire up the HTTP website. And anyway, so we have port 21, 22, 23, and yeah, it should match up. Yeah, it matches up. Well, again, this is a deliberately vulnerable environment. Try another browser. Man, let's try Safari. I tried 2 browsers already. On that 205. There you go. The fuck, this works. Okay. Alright, this works. But this doesn't? Yeah. No, why is it defaulting to 8? Hang on. I don't know. I mean, I turned it off here. Don't enable HTTPS mode. Really messed up. Anyway, so Safari it loads up on Safari for me. And it doesn't also load in Brave. So now we got the website. So we got deliberately vulnerable web applications here as well. Next week we'll talk about the deliberately vulnerable web application. Can I actually get the light on there? Nope. Light is not working today. That's fine. Light is not working today. But you can see fine. Alright. So here it is. Never expose this virtual machine to an untrusted network. Alright, that's fine. But we're not doing that, thank God. So now the question is, there are tools out there? Are there tools out there that can just find all the vulnerabilities on in this case, a virtual machine or a system, you name it? And the answer is yes. And we're going to start off with probably arguably the most popular and most well-known vulnerability scanning tool out there today. And it is commercial. It used to be open source for a small number of years in the 2000s, and it's called Nessus. Yeah, and it's called Nessus. Nessus by Tenable. Tenable Security at Tenable.com. And they have a number of products here. And here it is, Vulnerability Management. You can also try it for free. Expose and close your weaknesses. So how Nessus works, there is an agent that runs on a computer. And this is available for all platforms. Mac OS, all architectures, Windows, Linux, doesn't matter. Okay, but it is commercial. It is commercial. So companies spend thousands of dollars on Nessus each and every year for very good reasons. Here it is. That's a little snapshot of the graph here. All right. Prioritize vulnerabilities, proactively contextualize. Okay, this is all like advertisement stuff. But what about you folks? What about us folks who don't want to pay, or we college folks, college students? And there is a free version. There is a free version of Nessus. This is the one that I use for education. Okay? And teach vulnerability assessment with Nessus. That's what we're going to do today. We're just going to do this right now. How you get started is the following. Click on Get Started. You'll see this form here, Nessus for Education. Okay? So to register a Nessus Essentials Education, please complete the following form. And so what happens is you just fill in first name, last name, your email address, and then you hit Get Started. And then a@b.com. And you're going to hit Get Started. Once you actually hit Get Started, you will receive an email with the registration code and with an activation code. And when you also get started, you'll get... Hey, can I do a@c.com? Does that work? I don't know. And now, yep, that actually works. And now you can go to download. Now you can choose your download version. There's so many different ones. You can even download a Docker, a virtual machine for this. And then you go and install. Okay. I have an instance of Nessus installed on my home network, the free one. So if I go to http://https, now you have to be https, Kali:834, unable to connect. Why is this machine really acting up on me? I do not know. Let's go to https Kali:8834. This connection is not private. Show the details. Okay, I am going to visit this website, and here it is. Okay, what do you think is better, Greenbone, GPM? Okay, Luffy, it's funny that you're to bring that up because I'm going to talk about that next. Okay, now what what Luffy mentioned is, okay, Nessus. Where's the Wikipedia page? Here it is. I just want to show you that I'm not lying. Okay. Here it is. October 5th, 2005. Nessus went from open source to closed source. If you are not comfortable or you don't want to use a proprietary software, the alternative is to use OpenVAS, OpenVAS. This is essentially, go to openvas.org. Go to openvas.org, and the thing about OpenVAS is it has all the features of Nessus. Over the years, OpenVAS is free and open source. The problem is that the user interface is nowhere as nice as Nessus. So the answer to your question is I use Nessus because the user interface is really much nicer. Full stop. Okay? You can install OpenVAS on systems like Kali Linux, but OpenVAS is that the user interface, like, you know, because for me it was like a deal breaker. I mean, you can go get around it, but Nessus just feels so much nicer. Okay? Yeah, and it does take a long time to set up. But they both do the same work. They both do the same thing. They're both vulnerability scanners. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how Nessus, essentially the free version, looks like. I'm going to log in as me. DEF CON. There we go. So, I am going to now create a brand new scan. Now, when you log in, no error messages, no warnings, no updates, nothing. I have a list of all the vulnerability scans I've done on my network. The biggest differences between Nessus Free and the professional, the paid versions are you're only limited to 16 IP addresses in the essential free version, and a number of different scan types, namely compliance, not available. So I am going to create a brand new scan, and we're going to scan the Metasploitable instance that we have open. Now, here we go. You have a lot of options here. The free version of Nessus will allow you to do a host discovery scan. What this is it's a glorified Nmap scan of either one IP address or all the devices on a network. So host discovery is just it's just a port scanner. Now the interesting part is the vulnerability scanner. So you can do things like basic network scan, advanced scan, scan for malware, web application test. If you're dealing with specifically web application, that's the focus of next week. Active Directory, Find AI. The paid version will have mobile devices. And this is a big reason why people and companies and institutions pay for Nessus is compliance. Because compliance is a big driver of cybersecurity, like if you're doing anything with payment cards or any of that stuff. So we're not going to upgrade. So what we're going to do is just a basic network scan. It's a full system scan suitable for any host. So how do you actually create a Nessus scan? Is give this a name. I'm going to call it Metasploitable. Twitch, and today's date is 2024-10-10. Okay, description we'll leave it blank, and the target is going to be 192.168.1.205. Okay, that's it. That's all you need to do. If you want to do more complicated things, you can actually set up credentials, SSH credentials, Windows credentials. There's a whole bunch of plugins. The plugins are to test the vulnerabilities. Now, very important about any vulnerability scanner that you use. Very important point, and this will drive home the big underlying message of today. Vulnerability scanners are only going to look for publicly known vulnerabilities. I repeat, vulnerability scanners will only look for publicly known and reported vulnerabilities, especially vulnerabilities that have a CVE ID. Now, of course, you can look for a whole bunch. It's a whole class of vulnerabilities here. FTP, denial of service, Mac OS, list goes on. We're going to enable everything. And all you need to do now is just save it and then run it. And how you run it is to hit that little launch icon right here. And it's going to launch. And it's going to take a while. It could take anywhere between, there we go. It could take anywhere between, I don't know, 10 minutes to even 10 hours. It depends. You can, while it's running, you can click on, they already found 10 vulnerabilities. Look at that. Look at that. 10 vulnerabilities. Already? But why is it not listing out anything? Here it is. Oh, God. This UI is all messed up. It's all janky right now. Really? Well, Luffy, looks like you won the game here. Maybe I should go to OpenVAS because Safari is not rendering. It's not rendering the table correctly. Why is this all the way here? What if I go to Firefox, if I got HTTPS 192.168.1.219:834? Does that work? Why am I not getting able to connect? Stupid thing today. Really? What is wrong with you? Why is it unable to connect? And I'm on my local network. And I am using HTTPS. What is wrong with you? Hold on for a second. I may have an idea. Privacy. There it is. I should have access to a local network here. Yeah, here it is. Firefox is. Okay. What is wrong with this fucking thing? Try that. And now the light works. Are you fucking kidding me? What is wrong with this fucking thing today? Jesus H. Christ, really? Get better sounding board. Now I can get in. Are you fucking kidding me? Really, Mac? Well, maybe I should switch to Windows. Okay, so I'm now logged into Kali Linux. I'm logged in to Nessus on Firefox. Let's take a look at the Metasploit. Yeah, here it is. This is not good. See, for 192.168.1.205. Vulnerabilities. Ooh. VNC server password is password all in lowercase. Samba bad lock vulnerability. This is not good. Yeah, well, there it is. Bind shell backdoor detection. Not good. Not good. Not good. So this is still running. And I actually have, just in the interest of time, an instance of a Metasploitable report that was done. And I did this back a few days ago, 5 days ago. Let's take a look. So when I ran this on October the 5th at 5:42 p.m., it took 8 minutes. It took 8 minutes, but it found 10 critical vulnerabilities, 7 high vulnerabilities, 27 medium vulnerabilities, 8 and 132 information only. Of course, it goes without saying, the one that you really the vulnerabilities that we really care about are the ones in maroon or in red. Once you see critical and high vulnerabilities, that ain't good. Not good at all. You gotta go fix. In this case, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 critical vulnerabilities. High CVSS score, okay? You have an Unreal IRC backdoor, you have an SSL old version, you have a bind backdoor, you have a VNC weak password. Weak passwords such as password are vulnerabilities. Again, if you don't know this already, and I'll just have a friendly reminder, a vulnerability by definition is a weakness that can be exploited. Yep, another SSL. So, hey, you can see that this deliberately vulnerable system, Metasploitable 2, have a number of serious vulnerabilities that need to be patched right away. We know that this is a test system, but God forbid, imagine if this was actually in production in the real world, being used right now. Also, in similar vein, do not be surprised if you see systems that have critical vulnerabilities that are still in use. I'm not going to name any companies out there, but there are places that use like systems that live cannot be taken offline because of potential loss of millions, if not billions of dollars. Okay, so systems that are running in production with critical vulnerabilities, not news. Okay, what is Unreal? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this, Oblivioner? Unreal IRCD. The Unreal IRCD, it is an are you ever heard of something called? Are you familiar with the game Unreal Tournament? So Unreal IRCD, IRC stands for Internet Relay Chat. It's the chat server for Unreal Tournament. Yeah, there it is. Platform independent. Okay. Hey, by the way, let's take a look. Oh, let's dig deeper. There it is. The remote IRC server is a version of Unreal IRCD with a backdoor that allows an attacker to execute arbitrary code on the affected host. The solution is re-download the software, verify that it's published MD5/SHA-1 checksummed, and then reinstall it. Okay? Interesting. Yeah. So Unreal IRCD is the chat server, the chat daemon for Unreal Tournament, the game. So notice that the port is 6667. So what we can do, if there is a potential backdoor, can we break into that break into the Metasploitable server? Let's take a look. Do a netcat at 192.168.1.205 at port 6667. Watch what happens. You ready? You have not registered. Okay. All right. We'll come back to this for a second. Oblivion. All right. I think now you may be very curious now. We know that the Metasploitable, the vulnerable system is 192.168.1.205, and the port number in question is 6667. We may want to do some exploitation, right? Okay. We'll come back to that. All right. Let's go back. And you can see VNC password. Here it is. VNC server, quote unquote, password. The VNC, you can see, right? The VNC server running on the remote host is secured with a weak password. That's a vulnerability. Nessus was able to log in using VNC authentication and a password of, all in lowercase, password. A remote unauthenticated attacker could exploit this to take control of the system. There you go. So, seems like Nessus is doing a pretty good job of finding all sorts of vulnerabilities. Publicly known vulnerabilities that we've known of for years. Alright, sounds good. Now, our vulnerability scan is now done. The one that we started at 50, okay, now we got 10 critical, 7, 20, so roughly the same numbers. Okay? Yep, roughly the same numbers. So, bind backdoor shell. A shell is listening on the remote host without any authentication being required. An attacker may use it. Okay, what's the port number here? Here it is, 1524. Okay, what if I did this? 1524 instead of the Unreal Tournament. Ready? Boom. Got in. LS. Yeah, that's all we got. Backdoor, we'll talk more about backdoors when we talk about malware. It's my favorite one. Yep, there it is. Uname -A. Yeah, this is Metasploitable 2.6.24 server. Ooh, look at that. 2008 UTC. Who am I? Root. Yeah, does Nessus have a word list that we can use for weak password detection? I believe it does. I believe it does. Hey, CISO Global. Does Nessus have its own word list? Here it is. Believe so. Yeah, there is. There's a small 10,000 default password plugin that could be potentially used for scanning and sniffing. Yeah, it does. This is an old version, but yeah, absolutely. All right. Lots of vulnerability. Okay, so who am I? I'm going to go to cd/etc ls-la. Look at that. Look at that file from 2007, 2008. Most of you were born then? I mean, hey, I don't know. Look at that. 2007, 2008 timestamp. Excellent. All right. All right. So now, that's how dangerous a backdoor is. And this is a preview for malware down the road. For if a system has a backdoor, all you need to do is just make a connection to the IP address at that port, and you're in. You can do whatever you want. No bypassing all the authentication. Yeah, we'll come back to the Metasploitable in a few minutes. Here it is. There are plenty of other big vulnerability scanners out there. Rapid7 also has something called Nexpose. Yep, Nexpose is an on-premise vulnerability scanner. Some of my friends actually say that Nexpose is even better, like works even better than Nessus. I personally have never used Nexpose before because like the setup is interesting. Okay, and Nexpose is not free. There's a free trial, but Nexpose is not free. But basically, we're at a point where the de facto vulnerability scanner that everyone knows of is Nessus. Okay? So, another vulnerability scanner. Let me just now I'm in Firefox now. What the hell is this system like acting up on me today? Okay, now it works. I mean, you saw it with your own eyes earlier. I couldn't even get to this IP address on Firefox. Yes, on Firefox. And you even saw it on my settings that, I turned off enforcing HTTPS. So we have 192.168.1.205 has an HTTP website. Now, there are also vulnerability scanner tools that are specific for web servers software. Basically anything that's running a website. And my all-time favorite tool to scan for vulnerabilities, publicly known vulnerabilities on web servers is Nikto. Nikto. Yeah, that should ring a bell to some of you, eh? Nikto. Nikto is a web server scanner. Nikto has been around for a long time. Nikto is now free and open source. Okay, it's written in a programming language called Perl, which is like the second coming of Voodoo. Okay, Nikto is a web server scanner. There it is. Nikto performs a whole bunch of tests against web servers for multiple items, including 7,000 potentially dangerous file programs, check for outdated versions of so many different types of servers. Now, here is the thing about Nikto. Nikto is command line based. It's easy to use, but it is noisy as hell. What that means is it is not a stealthy tool. It will actually scream and yell that, hey, I'm a Nikto scanner. Like, it will leave behind a lot of breadcrumbs. That's fine. But the most important thing about Nikto, it was meant to test a web server in the quickest time possible. Okay? So, they also warn you that in this document here, that not every check is a security problem. Alright? So, let me show you how Nikto actually works. Alright? Now, I am going to load up the latest version. I'm going to get out of here. I am on Kali Linux right now. Nikto. Nikto is the scanning and web server for known vulnerabilities. Known vulnerabilities. Examine a web server to find potential problems and security vulnerabilities, including server and software. You already seen this. Okay. I think it's Solo that actually, did Solo actually write Nikto? I believe it is. Yep, it is. So how you run Nikto is this. Nikto -- host equals 192.168.1.205. That is Nikto space -- host equals, and set the IP address. And let's see what happens. Boom. 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 I have another instance. There it is. I have another instance of Nikto that is I can run. Oh my god. Okay. CD Nikto. Now CD program This is using the GitHub download, okay? This is using the GitHub version, so I do perl nicto.pl minus host equals 192.168.1.205 and bang. Yeah. Bing! Let's let it run. In the past, I know that students have actually used Nicto with great success in the capture the flag game that we have at the end of this month. Ooh. See a whole bunch of vulnerabilities? Okay, as you notice that OSVBD is being referenced here. OSVBD was the open source vulnerability database, which was meant to fix a lot of the problems with CVE. Unfortunately, OSVBD DB is now out of commission. That's not good. Yes. So if you notice now, Nicto has found a whole bunch of vulnerabilities. So what you can do is look at directory indexing found. Okay. Oh. What? Or user doc. What are you talking about? I thought it was, maybe it wasn't. You're lying to me already? Directory indexing found in test? Okay. Okay. Alright, that one, I don't know why doc didn't work. PHP info is found. There you can find more information about the server. Yep, there it is. Wow, PHP version 5.2.4. That is old. Build date was from January 6th of 2010. Whoopee! This is old. Oh yeah, look at that. January 6th of 2010. Oh yeah. The API version was from 2004. Oh yeah. There's an icons directory here. Yeah, this is not good, okay? Yeah, it's found that, okay, test. Still running. Alright. Nicto can also detect if, oh, PHP myadmin. Ooh, I didn't know that was a thing. Oh, it has to be my admin. I think it has to be. Yeah, there you go. Icons readme. I think I was playing with this version back then. I don't know. But you can see a whole bunch of vulnerabilities here that you can test out for. What did the Kali version says? They also have a WordPress configuration file. It's generally the same results. Okay, generally the same results. Okay, so I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna hit Control C to get out of here. But yeah, you can see Nicto just blast a whole bunch of vulnerabilities out for you. Okay. Speaking of foreshadowing, okay, we're going to do some foreshadowing in a bit. All right. Let's do some foreshadowing in a little bit. Who was it that asked about Oblivioner? You were the one. Oblivioner. You, my friend. You were the one that asked about the Unreal Tournament, IRC, Unreal IRC. There is another vulnerability scanner that you can use, although it is not technically a all-you-can, like a glorified vulnerability scanner, but you can look into specific vulnerabilities. And I'm sure some of you folks have heard of this tool before, but it's called Metasploit. Metasploit is, but the Wikipedia definition is a project that provides information about security vulnerabilities and aids in penetration testing. Basically, it's a suite. It is a suite. Okay, Metasploit.com. Metasploit.com. Okay, there's an open source and a commercial version. Most people I know use the open source version. If you want like a nice web UI that comes with the program, go for the pro. But Metasploit, what it is just a suite of tools. Basically, with Metasploit, you can do all kind of things. Vulnerability scanning and even exploitation. Okay, so I like to use the source code version of it. And here's the entire source code of Metasploit. I've used Metasploit for years, okay, to do all sorts of things. So if I go to Metasploit, I want to do a git pull. There it is. I also want to make sure that I have my database turned on. It uses Postgres behind the scene. Just want to make sure. I should have it. Yeah, I already started. Okay. Git pull. Oh, cool. I want to update all. Metasploit was written in Ruby on Rails, so every so often you have to do a bundle update. You don't have to do this on the standalone install, but if you're doing it from source code like I do, you have to update the plugins every so often. Alright, whatever. Fire up is MSF console. And yeah. Metasploit will not only perform vulnerability scanning for you of individual certain vulnerabilities, it can also do port scanning by way of Nmap. It uses Nmap under the engine, under the hood. And you can even do exploitation. So here it is. Welcome to Metasploit. Metasploit can be very interesting and complicated to use for newcomers. One of the first things that you can always do is, my favorite feature is a search. You can search for Unreal. There it is. Search engine is just search space the keyword. And here it is. Search for, and it will bring up an exploit for Unix, the IRC, Unreal _IRCD _321 backdoor. Description is 8.1 backdoor command execution. This vulnerability was disclosed on June of 2010, and that's the description. Yeah, there it is. So let me do a base. If I do host, okay, host is all the systems and IP addresses that Metasploit knows about. I'm going to do a DB nmap of 192.168.1.205. This is just a simple nmap scan against a target, and it will also make a reference of all of the IP address to your Metasploit instance. Alright. Can you do vulns? Nope, no vulnerabilities. Okay. But the port information can be stored. Port doesn't work. No. Okay. It's okay. So it looks like there's this instance of Metasploitable 192.168.1.205. Does it have the Unreal tournament? I think it should. Go back. I still, good. I still have it. Unreal backdoor 6667. Do I have 6667 here? Yep. 6667 is here. Okay. Hey, HackSmarter. How are you? We are trying to verify the vulnerability with the Unreal tournament. IRC daemon. Here it is. Now, we're going to use this exploit. Now, one of the things that you can do with Metasploit is to launch exploits and also manage sessions if you get things like a backdoor. So I'm going to use this exploit for Unix for IRC, unrail_IRC, yada yada yada. There it is. So now I'm going to use this exploit to against a vulnerability that we found in Nessus. So now, before you run the exploit, you want to do something called show options. You need to set the reason why you want to do show options is you need to set some important fields, like the IP address of the target. So as you can see here, I don't know what C host is, C port, proxies. Our port is 6667, okay, you can see the target port. That's required. We already have that set. But if I try to run it right now, or exploit, here it is. You got a problem. One or more of the options failed to validate. Our host. You need to fill in our host. So what you do is just set our host to be 192.168.1.205. Okay, now you show options again. 192.168.1.205 is now populated for our host. Our port is 6667. And now, can we do exploit and run? Hey, act smarter. You ready? Now, if all goes well, we should see a shell of some sort, or a session. This is annoying. A payload has not been selected. Oh, exploit completed, but no session was created. Okay, interested. Exploit target is number, well, we've looked for module info or info -D. Did I forget something? I'm going to search this. Aha, here it is. And for any exploit, right, this module exploits a malicious backdoor that was added to Unreal Tournament IRC, yada yada yada. Source code, here it is. Show targets. To display the available options, okay, yep. Set target. Show option. Oh. Show targets. Automatic. Huh, I don't know why. That didn't go through. Exploit completed, but no session was created. Oh, alright. Go back. Did I forget something? Exploit, yeah. Set target to be target ID 1. Show options. Yeah. Do not use, okay. Multi-handler, no. I did everything. Not sure why it didn't run. Wait a minute. Set target 1. Exploit. Nope. Set target 0. Exploit. Nah. Show payloads. Okay. Show payloads. Ah, here it is. Thank you, HackSmarter. Maybe show payload and set one of the payloads. Not 0. Let's do number 5. Set payload to be generic command execution. No, oh, no. We can do that. Show options. Alright, so you do have to set the payload for this one. Interesting. Exploit. Nah, no problem. Usually you don't have to, yeah, it is just an odd exploit. Show options again. No, show payloads. This is an odd one. Bind by way of Ruby. Okay, double. No. Do set CMD. Who am I? Okay. Try that now. Sending backdoor command. Okay, so now this works. Not getting anything here. We're close enough. Now hey, at least we're connected. Somehow. Looking up your username, sending backdoor command. No, not doing it. This is a weird one. This is a very weird exploit. Okay, it's just looking here. Try to reverse payload. Try reverse shell. Reverse shell. Oh, looks like Michelle 7. Okay. This is a weird one. No. Alright, well, okay. Yeah, you can try reverse shell. Alright. But yeah, this is a weird one. But yes, in Metasploit, you can do exploitation if you want. So Metasploit does a combination, like can do everything. Scanning, and also the exploitation. And there's just so much that you can do. Can you check if some system has SMB? Yes, sure. I can go back to get out of this exploit. Search for SMB. Yeah, here it is. Auxiliary. Anything auxiliary is usually like a scanner of some sort. Yep. SMB version. Let's use this. Show options. This may work. Set our host 192.168.1.205. Show options again. Scanner / SMB version. Just to run. Okay, interesting. Oh, okay. Host cannot be identified. SMB version detected. Version 1. Look like it's some. Okay. So, auxiliary module execution completed. Cool. Okay. So, that's enough of Metasploit that I got. But yes, all you need to know is Metasploit can do exploitation and vulnerability scanning for you if you want. Does everything. Burp Suite. We're going to use Burp Suite next week. But what Burp Suite is by my friends at Portswigger. Is it portswigger.net? Yeah, portswigger.net. I thought it was. Portswigger.net. Their famous tool is called Burp, B-U-R-P. Go to products. Now there's an enterprise edition, there's an annual cost, there's a professional, and the one that we would like to use is the community edition. Best manual tool to start web security testing. Yes. So Burp Suite will look for vulnerabilities in websites and web applications. Okay, so what's the difference between the community edition and the professional version? Both versions will have something called a proxy, which we will use next week. The professional version of Burp actually has a built-in web scanner. I have a built-in vulnerability scanner in here. Yep, web vulnerability scanner. So that's the difference. Next week, we're going to use the proxy. That's very important. But yes, if the paid version is $499, I think it's $499 a year, has a web vulnerability scanner. All you need to do is plug in an IP address or a domain and then hit the enter key, and that's it. And it's going to find a whole bunch of vulnerabilities for you. Burp is written in Java. I have an instance of Burp installed on my machine. That's the community edition. I'm going to hit next. I'm not going to have the scanner, because the vulnerability scanner, because this is the community edition. You have a dashboard here. Yeah. So back in the days, what it would do like a new scan. That's, you know, if you actually had the paid version of it, you can do a new scan. and it'll just, that's it. Type in an IP address, type in a domain, and you scan, hit enter, that's it. So you have to pay for that. But we're going to use Burp next week because Burp has been around for years. Yeah, I want to exit. So you may be wondering if there is a alternative to Burp Professional that does a web vulnerability scanning, and the answer is yes. And the answer is actually yes. And I am actually going to do this live on the air today. So here's a tool called OWASP ZAP. The Z-Attack proxy. The Z-Attack proxy, ZAP, is a web application scanner. It has everything and everything with, like Burp. The biggest difference with ZAP is free and open source. So you may be wondering, if ZAP has all the features of Burp, why would so many people use Burp over ZAP? And the reason is a couple of reasons. Number one is usability. The interface is a little nicer for Burp. The other thing is with Burp, which does matter in cybersecurity tools, Burp has been around for a very, very, very long time. So it's hard for a lot of people to actually go from one system to another. I mean, we've all been down that road. Both ZAP, both Burp are platform independent. Okay, pick your installer. I like to install all my software by way of Homebrew. I'm on my Mac right now. So here it is. Brew info minus cast. Yep. And this looks like the, this is a Z-Attack proxy. Brew install minus cast ZAP. This could come in handy for you down the road. Oh yeah, I've heard people have said that. It's Kaido. Oh yeah. Don't I know you from somewhere, hack_smarter? I think it is. Here it is. This is a lightweight web security auditing toolkit. Oh, it does look really lightweight. And it's beta. I've got posters. Thank you so much. Does this have a scanner? Does this actually have a, does it have a scanner with it? I think it does. It looks like it does. Yeah, it looks like it has an automated scanner. Okay. All right, give this a try. How much is this thing? Okay. Hey, Tyler. Yeah, so we got a pro. Yes. Thank you so much. Hey, thanks for joining, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. Pleasure to digitally meet you. Students can get the pro completely for free. All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much for chiming in. Sounds good. Sounds really, really, really good. ZAP was installed. Yep, I got it right here. I am going to move that into my developer tool and ZAP. ZAP is in my developer tools right now. Okay, whatever. I'm surprised I don't have Rosetta. Okay, it's okay. I need it anyway. ZAP is good. ZAP is good enough. So this is what happens when you load it up. Hey, thanks for joining today, hack_smarter. Yeah, thank you so much for joining. How did you find me? Okay, here we go. Hey. This ZAP is not open. Apple cannot, okay, F you guys. Apple has not been kind. I'm gonna go right click, open, could not. What? Okay. Privacy and security. Developer tool. Is it developer tools now or downloads? Ah, here it is. Zap was open anyway. Open anyway. Maybe I should actually get out of Apple land. I've almost had enough for just one frickin' day. Allow. Oh my god. Really? Ah. Cool. Alright, so now we're on Zap. Now we should remember my choice and don't ask again. No, I don't. Ah, here it is. And this is what Zap is. Now, if this is the first time booting up Zap, you know, just gonna ask you if you want to manage the add-ons. I'm gonna do an update all. Why not? Continue on. But one of the things that you will see down the road is, you know, when you actually use the scanner for vulnerabilities in Zap, there could be just a lot of stuff. Like lots and lots of stuff. Okay, it's updating. Alright, shouldn't take that long. All updates are good. Close. But this time, what you can do is, here we are, installing, there it is. Zap is an easy integrated penetration testing for finding vulnerabilities in web applications. Now, again, Zap and Burp will find vulnerabilities in web applications. It's not going to find vulnerabilities in like the Unreal server daemon that's installed. It's not going to, you know, find vulnerable versions of SSH. It's specifically web applications. Applications that are running, you know, usually on ports either 80 or 443. You can do an automated scan. Go to http://192.168.1.205. And that's it. I mean, you can do, okay, and just hit attack. Yeah, allow. Aww. There it is. Bam. So now it's just going through a whole, but it does have a feel of, it does have a feel that this is working very much like Nikto. Yeah, maybe tonight, after today hacks_smarter, that I may even want to go for Linux for good. Damn, what the hell is wrong with my machine today? This like never happened. I mean, I've done 6 episodes of this thing this semester, and like none of these issues have been showing. It's like an angry kid acting up a day. Anyway, all right. So where are the vulnerabilities? The vulnerabilities that you can take a look is not in history, but go to alerts. Full details of alerts will be displayed here. You can manually add. Interesting. No alerts so far. I find this very, very, very interesting. There's been no alerts. Really? There used to be like a ton of alerts that just show up. Nuclei. No, I haven't. No, I haven't looked at it. Yeah, Nikto just feels like ancient. Hey, you know what? Since I'm wondering, I wonder if I can do 192.168. Oh, you know what I could do? I wonder if I can stop here for a second, but I'm going to cheat. But let's take a look at Mutilidae. This should find a ton of vulnerabilities. Now you can even be really specific with the URLs. They have Mutilidae here, use a traditional spider, and now just hit attack. But this is a deliberately vulnerable web application of that has a whole bunch of riddled with vulnerabilities deliberately, so people can learn web security. Now let's attack. There we go. It's no alert showing up. This is very surprising. Ah, there it is. Bam. We got, one alert. We got one. Path traversal. Yeah, that's one. Yep, we'll do that next week. Up 11 path traversal. There we go. Okay, now we're talking here. We'll let this thing run. Hey, love. Hey, ouch. How are you? I also use it for externally. Okay. Alright. Hack_smarter. We have never met face to face before. But we got 4 minutes left. Oh, here we go. Remote file inclusion. Now we're talking. Now you can see Zap is bringing up some really good vulnerabilities here. There we go. Even with their CVEs as well. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. So today, all we just did was a whole bunch of tools. All right. So, I mean, the early question was, how do I scan, how do I check if my systems are secure or not? I'm actually glad that you're here, hack_secure. Because now is the final message of today. Like, what's the takeaway? Here's the thing. There are many vulnerability scanning tools out there. Many vulnerability scanning tools out there. Are they important? To a degree they are. But they're not the end-all be-all. They're not the end-all be-all. Important message number one. That, okay, you've learned all sorts of vulnerability scanning tools and stuff today. But they're not the end-all be-all. If a vulnerability scanning tool, like a Nessus or even like a Zap, if it returns no alert, no vulnerabilities, it doesn't mean that a system is blessed, secured. It doesn't mean that at all. And that's a big fallacy that many people believe. Many people feel that if a vulnerability scanner returns nothing, if they return absolutely nothing, that means you're blessed, you're secure. That's 100% not true. I want to introduce to you all my friend and mentor, Gary McGraw. Gary McGraw was the one who got me into the cybersecurity field. And he coined this term called Badness-O-Meter. And the concept of Badness-O-Meter is this. With vulnerability scanning, you're either in deep trouble or who knows. The value of vulnerability scanning tools like the Nessus, the OpenVAS, the Nikto, the Burp, the Zap, you know, the list goes on. There's a plethora of them. If you find vulnerabilities, especially serious vulnerabilities, critical ones, like we saw in Nessus here, like this critical one, that means you're in deep trouble. You gotta fix these ones right away. You know, your vulnerabilities are critical, the high, even the medium ones, they gotta be fixed right away. You're in deep trouble. You're in deep trouble. Okay? You're in deep trouble if it has like a critical. But what if your vulnerability scanner, in this case, just say Nessus, if it returns nothing, it just returns a whole bunch of info. Fact of the matter is, even if it finds a whole bunch of info, yeah? What is that noise? What is that noise? I mean, who knows? Because vulnerability scanners only check for publicly known vulnerabilities. But there are vulnerabilities in systems that we don't even know about, that are not publicly disclosed. They're called 0 days. Okay? So even if a vulnerability scanning tool returns nothing, it means who knows. Who knows? Doesn't mean your system is secure. The value of vulnerability scanners is just to show you if you're in deep trouble or not. Okay? And hack_smarter, and for those of you who are tuning in who are actually students, now you understand that the security community is really small, and people, and you know, hey, one of the beautiful things about being on Twitch is that we actually have professionals. Hack_smarter, this one is for you. And you know this. One of the biggest gripes I have with the cybersecurity community is there are people, there are companies, I'm sure we know of a few people and a few companies that does this. They get hired they get hired to do what is called a penetration test, or to actually break in and dump data. That's their whole job. But what they do instead is this: they run a Nessus scan. They print out they download the report. They change the logo of their report. They change the logo of the report so it doesn't say that it comes from Nessus, and hand that back to the customer saying, "This is a pen test." They're two different things. Penetration testing and vulnerability scanning are two different things. Two totally different things. What we have been doing today, for the most part, with the exception of trying to do exploitation on Metasploit, is we've been doing vulnerability scanning. We're just looking for vulnerability scan. Okay? And I cannot tell you how many people we've seen in the past, how many people in companies that we have seen in the past. Like, I'm just going to give you an example, like an institution like Harvard. Harvard would hire, like, certain companies, cybersecurity companies, to actually break into their system to test, like, defenses, to do an actual penetration test. But the problem is that who Harvard hired, what they would do instead, they would just run a Nessus scan, which is a vulnerability scan, and hand that in as a final deliverable. And that is not that's not a pen test, that's a vulnerability scan. A vulnerability scan is just going to list potential vulnerabilities, like Nessus. That's the whole point of Nessus. That's the whole point of Nikto, okay? Nessus is generally the same idea. It doesn't show an actual break-in. A penetration test actually is actual proof that they broke in. So pen testers like hack_smarter, okay? Like hack_smarter, all right? His job, I mean, I'm sure your job is to actually go, let's say, break web apps and dump data. Let's say, okay, you find a vulnerability in a web application, like a SQL injection vulnerability. You find a SQL injection vulnerability, you're going to dump all like hundreds, thousands, millions of records. Now that's a pen test, because you're actually showing the actual proof of break-in and the result of, the ultimate result, which is dumping all the data. Yep. That's a pen test. Vulnerability scan and pen testing, two different things. They're related, okay, but they're different things, different outcomes. I've been meaning to ask if I want to learn about cybersecurity every day around 2 hours a week. So basically, just doing a chapter of, from a rough estimate perspective. I mean, HackSmarter said you get good as long as you use solid resources. Growing learning is all about persistent over long term. That's a great plan. Yeah, I generally agree with that. Um, it's much harder to learn things now. There's a reason why imposter syndrome runs so rampant, because things are more complicated now, but certainly keep pushing. That's number one. But more importantly, yeah, I have some reservations. If you're just doing reading and learning, you really have to do hands-on work. You're really gonna have to do hands-on work, like get your hands dirty, dabble, tinker, break shit, download vulnerable app download systems. You know what? The thing I always recommend people to do: just get a cheap computer or a cheap Raspberry Pi. Build a virtual machine, deliberately vulnerable virtual machine, or even a deliberately vulnerable web server. Put it in your router at home and try to access that. Like, you got to do the hands-on work. Like, you can read about password cracking, but it does no good if you don't do it by hand. You can read all about it, but it does no good until you actually do it. Yeah, it's a grind. But yeah, I would say that suddenly realized, yeah, try hack me, hack out I agree. Hands-on tool. And speaking of hands-on, we're a little bit over time today. But yeah, next week, SQL injection. Talk about pen testing. We're going to do SQL injection next week. So you're actually going to be doing the actual exploitation. And how about this? How about dumping a voter database of over 10,000 records? Tax Smarter, no, thank you. No, thank you. No, for joining. It means a lot. It's like, you get judgmental sometimes. It's like, who the hell is this? I've never seen this person before. But one of the nice, friendly reminders that I got today, one of the beautiful things on Twitch is no one knows if you're a cat or a dog. Yeah. Yeah, it's like no one knows if you're a cat or a dog, and you really don't know, like, who really comes on. In this case, we actually have a pro. So, want to thank also Hack_Smarter for joining in. So, as bad as the day that the setup has begun, it did end up on a very, yeah, cool. Tyler, thank you so much. Again, so as bad as it for a bad of a stream it started today with everything going wrong. Goddamn Mac and goddamn Mac. It did end on a very good note. So I want to say thank you. Thanks, CS Comp 160 War student. Yeah, Tyler, thank you again so much. So thanks everyone. See you next week. We're going to be dumping voter databases. And how timely, because we got the election in a few weeks. Take care all. Thank you so much again. Yeah, that was cool. That was real good. Stupid Mac.